Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Cerberus and this is Garage C. Easy day today. We have a list. It's a really short list. It's got one thing on it. Install engine. Easy peasy, right? There's probably a bit more to it than that. We've got some bell housing bolts to torque up because we didn't remember those. We've got, I know pretty much everything's on the engine. Let's just put it on a crane and drop it in. It might even be going vroom 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 by the end of the weekend. You never know. The engine's in! Yes! We made that look really easy, I think. Me and the camera lady, executive producer, and my missus have done that before, a couple of times. How many times have we put an engine in MX5?
More than a couple.
Is that like I think that's the third time, isn't it? The load leveler, I think, is the secret. If you're dropping engines in and out of cars, load levelers are really, really good because you just get the angle, move it in and change the angle, move the angle. You saw it on the video. And it's in. We have the two engine mounts loosely bolted up by hand. We have the trolley jack under the tailstock of the gearbox, holding it in roughly the right place. I've got to go underneath now and scrabble around with the PPF and the prop shaft. Then we need to put the exhaust manifold on and connect all the wiring and fuel lines and all that good stuff. There's loads to connect. And I don't think we'll get an engine start today, but we might get one tomorrow. So I'd better crack on. This is where a bit of forward planning comes in. You remember my little tip many episodes ago about if you take a bolt out, put it back where it came from. It's better than putting it in a bag. Sometimes you have to put it in a bag and put a label on it. But generally, if you thread the bolt back in where it came from, it'll be there when you come to reassemble. But with the fuel lines, I always forget which is the feed and which is the return. I can never remember it. And rather than try and remember it or make a note, I use yellow zip ties. So here's the two pipes from the fuel rail. As you can see, one of them has one yellow zip tie on it. If you look at the two pipes down here, you see one of them has one yellow zip tie on it. So I know that fuel pipe goes to that one, and this fuel pipe goes to that one. All I have to do, when I disassembled all this, I threaded a bolt in here to stop us losing fuel from the rail. I put the clip back round it, so all I have to do is pop this bolt out. Da, da, da. That's a good shot. And this one doesn't have a zip tie on, so it goes on the pipe. It doesn't have a zip tie on. And give it a twist, give it a push, and it's on. We'll grab hold of our clip and push that back down. That's it. Next verse, same as the first. Oh, we are getting a little bit of fuel. It's okay. Only a little dribble. And we like the smell, so that's good. Oh, this one doesn't want to come out. Come on. Oh, good grief, really? Pop! And we'll set that one back into place. Grab our pipe clip. There we go. Smells like victory and slightly like petrol. Quite a successful day. We've got the engine in the car. We've put the PPF on, the prop shaft. I need to get back under there with the torque wrench and do those up to spec. A bit of wiring done, clutch, slave cylinders on, throttle cable, alternator wiring, all that stuff on. Really good. Time for bed, and we'll see how we get on tomorrow.
Time for pizza.
Oh yeah, pizza! I've earned it. It's Sunday. Will today be car engine starting day? As opposed to other engine start. I don't know why I said car. Will it be engine starting day? I don't know. You know when you're lying in bed, trying to sleep, staring at the roof of your four-poster and thinking, did I torque those PPF bolts? Well, I grabbed my phone and made a list of all the things I thought of. I need to tighten up the engine mounts because we only put those in finger tight. I need to torque the PPF and prop shaft bolts because they were just put in and done up and not really tightened. I need to align the PPF. I'm not sure if I managed to get much footage of that because it's a pain in the bottom to do. Basically, you have to set the gearbox and the PPF angle, put a jack under it, measure across the sound deadening rails underneath and get 83mm or something like that, and then do all the bolts up. Pretty boring to watch actually, so I'll probably just do the bolts up and then tell you that I did the bolts up. And I need to tighten up the Allen head bolts on the vernier pulleys because I'm not sure that I ever checked that they were done up, so I should probably do them up. I have to talk over the fan a bit because it's blooming Baltic in the unit today. We've actually got the fan heater on for the first time this year. Winter draws on. I think I said that last time. So there's nothing to it but to do it. So let's crack on. For those of you wondering, no, I'm not about to ask the camera lady to bend over and touch her toes. This is how I deal with exhaust manifold heat wrap. I had to put heat wrap on the manifold because otherwise it cooks the supercharger. But fiberglass, horrible. So I glove up and I bag up and I don't get covered in fiberglass and it doesn't drive me potty for the rest of the day. Okay folks, it's that time. Genuinely, we have not started the car. We've connected everything back up. Everything underneath, exhaust, prop shaft, all the PPF, all of that is done. There's no coolant connected, although the hoses that are difficult to get to are in place. Intake manifold's on, exhaust manifold's on, all the wiring's connected. So we can't run it for long because there's no coolant, and that's deliberate because it's easier to get to those vernier pulleys without the radiator and all that in the way. Standard airbox is on, standard ECU is in, she's on standard injectors. Wish me luck. Ready? That didn't sound good. Pops and bangs. Remember we said we might regret those pulleys. Yeah, I regret those pulleys. Right, standard timing pulleys on, and then we'll have another try. Before I tear into this engine and put the standard pulleys on, that sounded for all the world like a timing issue, which is why I'm thinking pulleys. Like it was trying to fire on the wrong stroke. So, it brings my mind to this coil pack. Now, my car was running a coil-over plug conversion, which gives it a slightly stronger spark, which is beneficial when you're supercharged. And because we've returned to standard, I've put a standard coil pack on, which means I've put the wiring back in. Now, there are two plugs that connect to the coil pack. So let's talk about the coil pack just for a second. There are two coil packs. There's one here and there's one here. These both spark at the same time. So it's what's called a wasted spark. So we take these two leads, for example, for 2 and 3. When 2 fires, 3 fires at the same time. On the compression stroke, 2 fires, causes the explosion, down goes the piston. At the same time, 3 fires. But at that point in the suck, squeeze, bang, blow, it isn't doing a squeeze, it's doing a... which way around? Anyway, it's doing one of the other 4. It's wasted spark, right? So you can in fact swap these 2 leads round and it will make no difference. You can swap these 2 leads round and it will make no difference. But if I've plugged those in the wrong way round, then these 2 might be firing when it should be these 2 that are firing. So it's a pain to get down there and disconnect those connectors. But if what I do is disconnect this pair from that coil pack and move these 2 across. I'm shaking with excitement that this might be the thing. And then if I move these 2 across, then it looks like the plug order is completely miles out, but it won't matter. If I've got those 2 round the wrong way, then doing that will have corrected that mistake, in theory. So this is take 2. Have we solved the problem? If I turn the key now, is it going to be celebrations or is it going to be time for the standard cam pulleys? You ready for this? Yes! Well, I'm totes emotion. I'm struggling to do this piece to camera. She runs and she drives under her own steam, and The throttle pedal's got a bit too much play in it. I need to tighten the linkage up, and the clutch, yeah, I've forgotten how heavy that Spec 2 Plus clutch was. She's back. She's back. She's NA. She's not supercharged, but she's back. She is wings and a bonnet and a bumper away from being driven home. We're not going to do that this episode because it's late.
And a radiator.
Oh yeah, and a cooling system. A cooling system would be beneficial. It's quite late. We've worked quite hard this weekend. Hopefully it's come together into quite a good episode. I really hope you've enjoyed watching. It's been fantastic to have you guys. We've had a boatload of new subscribers in the last week, which is fantastic. That's really great. Thank you so much, and I hope all you new guys are enjoying what you're seeing. Yeah, I'm going home to get really drunk and celebrate. That's awesome. Whisper's back. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time on Garage C. Load leveler. I'm gonna, what? Oh, flashing lights, I'm fluffing my lines. Fuck it, starting with the cut. The engine's in! And we made that look pretty easy, I think. It's almost as if we've done it before. The load lever, for fuck's sake. The engine's in! Yay! Fuck off.
Oh, that's Chris. T-wank. Nipples.